What is that showing? What is that showing?
What is the Apple Fritter 300, and why was this streamed on TOC?
Alright, we are live right now. Severe weather coverage. Don't ask, bro. Right now we have this cell riding I-44 up to St. Louis. I'm not gonna repeat what I said earlier because I accidentally put the stream on a different channel, but whatever. Uh, this cell right here, we are near north of St. Louis. This is near Brighton, Illinois, Medora, Illinois, Shipman, Illinois, and Carlinville, Illinois. You can see this thing really wrapping up to the west of Shipman. This would be going northeast. It's getting nudged by this squall line behind from Jerseyville, Rosedale, all the way north. And that will maybe produce a strong to intense tornado. Very short-lived, though, as it gets nudged by the storm behind it. Lots of contamination. Window for tornadoes is not long on this cell, however, we're still watching. More cells to the south of this, maybe some confluence band convection in these areas with a PDS tornado watch. Right now you're probably thinking, why the heck is there a PDS tornado watch when there's zero storms at all? And you have a valid reason for thinking that, but this is going to be a nocturnal event, meaning it's going to be happening late at night. I think the peak for this area is going to be 8 to 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So pretty late. And going back to this storm right here, this is our main focus. It's one of the only ones with the tornado warning. No, the only one with the tornado warning besides this near Mount Pulaski. Oh, Spino, look at Mount Pulaski. This is the tornado warning furthest north. Yeah, if you're north of Mount Pulaski to the east towards areas like Tunbridge, Clinton, Maroa, Illinois, you need to be taking cover now. That is a strong signature right now for a QLCS tornado. And you can actually see that's a full-on embedded supercell now. Yeah. This could definitely produce a tornado pretty shortly here as it progresses eastward. Another area of interest south of that, this is near Buffalo, Lake Fork, Illopolis, Latham, west of Decatur, Illinois. This will all go north. And we're also maybe watching this discrete cell out ahead near or east of Decatur. I'm not sure of the severe threat that actually has. Of course, looking at our mesoscale discussion here, just released by the SPC in the PDS Tornado Watch area. Deepening cumulus fields, a couple of towers now of lightning occurring in far southern Illinois. Any storms that develop could strengthen and organize quickly, posing a risk for very large hail and strong to intense tornadoes. Again, this is from areas in this blue circle right here. This is Memphis to Carbondale. Memphis, Tennessee, Arkansas, all the way up to Carbondale. Evansville is barely outside of that as well. Cape Girardeau, Missouri/Illinois. Jonesboro, Marktree, Jackson, Milan, Martin, Benson, those areas. Yeah, going back to our cell up here, looks a lot more disorganized. But yeah, you could definitely see something wrapping up near Shipman. If you're in Shipman and Royal Lakes, Illinois, you need to be taking cover now. That thing is really starting to wrap up as it regresses to the east. And we have this cell that, again, that's running I-44, has not really turned right too much yet. Yeah, another one we're going to have to watch is this one near Owensville. This is also west of St. Louis. This one's going straight into the North Metro, O'Fallon, Defiance, Maryland Heights, Florissant. Someone definitely has a chance. And look at our environment. It is a very, very potent environment for long track, strong to intense tornadoes. But right now, none of it's really being used. We have this large warm sector right here. You could see from St. Louis south. Basically, this whole area that's not being used by any storms. Northeast Arkansas, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois. And this is all going to build up until later where we at least get a QLCS tornado threat down here. And we're starting to see some convection in southeast Oklahoma that will be going into Arkansas, into that more potent environment. And going back up to our cell, storm up here. Oh wow, that's not easy to... Okay. You can see our storm relative velocity and rotation are very tight. Never mind. Yeah, this is a very wonky radar image. Let me try to... Oh, yep, that's updated. Maybe a tornado on the ground here. This is northeast of Mount Pulaski going towards Kenny and Tunbridge, Illinois. Very close signature. It's hard to tell if it's on the ground with QLCS tornadoes like these, but very well could be. Let me go ahead and check stuff real quick. Spino Mel, you could fill them in on something.
This is a very weird CC. It might be. I don't think it is. I'm currently watching a chaser right now. There doesn't seem to be anything. I don't see any reports, not even for a wall cloud, so.
No, I was talking about the one north of that.
The one near Shipman?
No, way north of that.
There's one north?
That one.
Ooh.
And still watching this cell near Bourbon and Sullivan, Missouri, going northeast towards Eureka, Afton, St. Louis. So, definitely still one to watch. It looks like a relatively tornadic cell, however. Just got done with that left split, trying to turn right. Has really turned right in these last few scans, so we need to be watching for a tornado shortly. It has a very, very low precipitation hook. You can see that side right here. This is how the supercell will look when it's done with all this. And this is our left split. This part of the supercell to the north near Miramigua Park. This will bring pretty much just large hail and maybe some damaging winds towards St. Clair and Union, which could, thankfully for our people in Washington, Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, weaken this cell near Owensville and Gerald, Missouri. Going back to the south, or actually, yeah, we'll have to stay on the cell that you were just watching near Shipman. It's gonna take in that merger. It's getting really pushed along with this QLCS and not really getting absorbed. This merger just to the north of Bunker Hill looks relatively constructive. And let me see. And forcing is really starting to impact the warm sector, apparently. If I look on mesoanalysis, right there in that satellite tab on the stream. Now we're going to need to go. This is the right sector, right? Yep. So this is what we're looking at. If we go to Cape, you can see areas of 4,000, Cape, 3,500 stretching in. Just in that area that so is just an untapped warm sector. Areas of 5,500 K potentially down in northeast Texas, the Texarkana region. And that will continue to overstretch north through the night as this trough ejects. I do think this trough is ejecting too early for the most part, which is kind of misplaced from the confluence. So we will have to see if that continues to trend towards to more of a discrete mode or a QLCS. Looks definitely like more of a QLCS. But going back here, right now in Shipman, still trying to wrap. Very strong RFD. Yeah, that looks a lot less tornadic on the recent scan. Maybe getting force outflow dominant. So, areas in Litchfield, you may be on the safe side, but Shipman, Gillespie, still take cover. I do think Carlinville is 100% on the safe side, even though they're still in that tornado warning. And going to this cell near Sullivan, this will continue going to the east, south of the St. Louis Metro, thankfully. But straight to areas like Hillsboro, Pevely, Barnhart, Festus, DeSoto, Waterloo, Freeburg, Belleville. Those are areas in Missouri and Illinois. Eastern Missouri and Illinois. Still lots of convection attempts again on this confluence. And yet the confluence bands have fired. This is in northern Mississippi, south of Memphis. So areas like near Jackson, Tennessee, you're really going to need to watch. The environment, the further you get south and east, still has 2,500 K in that ballpark, maybe in the 1,000s. But that is enough. Looking at our 850 millibar winds, I'm going to just draw it out on here. This is sort of how it's going. We have this big leg of 850 millibar winds, pretty extended 850 millibar winds, and forcing right along the confluence band. So if I draw it out, this is areas of at least 30 knots of low-level jet right here. And higher values, 35 up into here. So these cells are in a very highly sheared environment, I believe. And a, lack of other words, tornado. Yep, photographs still look good. Good venting, decent venting. You can see that on the satellite screen. I can't scroll down even further, but yeah, I can't point the thing down anymore, but you can barely see on the screen. Still, these cells that will be firing in Mississippi will be in a good tornadic environment, but one thing we do have to check is our SQTs. Yep, looks like relatively decently low LCLs. Lots of CAPE, good CAPE profiles, very saturated profiles in northern Mississippi, western Tennessee. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch this unfold here. This could be a really big shocker for areas like Oxford if that goes that far to the east. I know it probably will be for some people in Tennessee, even though you're in an enhanced risk of severe weather anyways. Still, we're never really under the gun that much. Oh yeah, look at the cell southwest of St. Louis. That's a tornado imminent. Had a very, very strong RFD surge in these last few scans. This is about to drop a strong tornado. If you're anywhere, this is going to be a long track cell too. Completely unimpeded. If it could stay ahead of these cells behind it, very big glob of severe criteria winds and hail from Rolla, St. Robert, Dixon, Missouri, out north. It could be a pretty long track tornadic supercell. So areas in Hillsboro, Cedar Hill, you need to be watching this very closely. And our new tornado warning. This is for heavily. Yep, we have a new tornado warning. This is for the cell we were just talking about, near Bourbon and Sullivan, Missouri, going to the east, south of St. Louis. So this is our, we'll just give this the second area, or the main area to watch. Our second area to watch is this cell continuing near Shipman going east towards Litchfield, Illinois. And our third area to watch will be Mississippi, in that confluence band area. This is really going to try now. We'll keep Supercell WX tabs on this cell. Actually, we'll just keep this on. Yeah, pretty tornadic looking cell firing near Jonestown if I go to that. This is a Mississippi. Real quick. So areas in Memphis, the Memphis area east, really needs to be watching for this. And we have this other thing trying to fire, lots of things trying to fire now. And we have cells firing near Fort Smith, Arkansas. This is along the cold front. Not sure when these are going to go tornadic, if they go tornadic at all. Still going to have to watch that. Anyways, let's go back to our cell south of St. Louis. Really dangerous situation unfolding there for those in Hillsboro, Missouri. Luckily, I think, Spondo, if you could check how populated this area exactly is. Specifically from Sullivan.
Yeah.
Sullivan to Hillsboro.
Hillsboro has a population of 3,400, and what else, Sullivan?
Yeah.
Sullivan has a population of about 7,000.
Okay, is there anything in between those two towns?
That park you were talking about, I'd say, a village. Let's see. Between that and Hillsboro, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay, yeah. Very
few small towns, yeah.
Very suburban area here. So if as soon as this touches the ground, we're gonna know. We're probably gonna get a deep CC drop right away. So we're gonna need to really watch this. It's not exactly a huge looking supercell either. It's pretty small compared to the other one we had earlier near Brighton and Jerseyville. But it's still something. New scan shows it's definitely, yeah, that's really wrapping up. About across this highway or river right here to the southeast of Sullivan. Let me get a better look on maps real quick while we're watching this. And look at the roads over here. One sec. Yeah, this is a very wooded area as well. Lots of trees. So if we do pick up a CC drop, it might just be from tree damage. Very concerning look on that cell. It's more of that classic supercell shape. You can really see how it looks at those photographs. Right now, just to southeast of Sullivan. This is crossing Highway 185. Gonna go east. I believe it's either, yeah, this is probably just south of the Pea Ridge Pentecostal, yeah. Pea Ridge Pentecostal Church going northeast. Very wooded, mountainous area until you get to Rich Woods, north of Rich Woods near Londell Lakes, Camp Nitnick. Yeah, lots of churches and stuff in between. The DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District, Cottage Farm, north of Ware, up until Hillsboro. We do have a pretty decently sized neighborhood. If you're in the Rain Tree Plantation, this is northwest of Hillsboro, you need to be taking cover now. This is looking like a very concerning situation with the supercell going up towards y'all. Yeah, this is going right for what it looks like Hillsboro and maybe north. So the Plane Tree Plantation really needs to be watching out. And Yeah, I'm not sure about any other details of the area. Yeah, this may very well be our storm of the day here. And we have a new mesoscale discussion. This is watch possible. Tornado 100 to 125 miles an hour. This is for areas down here in Mississippi and Alabama. So you watch your cells firing. Right now this is mostly a hail threat. Minor hail, damage to vegetation for the special weather statement going towards cold water. But if any of these root, it'll definitely have a pretty significant threat associated with it. Still a solid convection attempt near Paducah, Kentucky, still at it. Going back to a storm near St. Louis. And yeah, still trying to wrap, may be having some issues here. Luckily. Yeah, Brad Arnold, one of the storm chasers, said this cell is looking pretty violent. So, some strong wording, but this cell looks pretty intense. The environment in it's heading in. Pretty significant. Yeah, less intense signature on that recent scan. Shear is definitely not going to be an issue. And for the southern risk, in like Mississippi, shear is not going to be an issue. 300 SRH, I thought that would be the biggest issue, but I guess not.
The QLCS, the little tornado warning cell up north just had its warning extended.
Alright, yeah, we'll keep an eye on this too. This is for Weldon, DeLand, Monticello, Illinois. Still gotta watch that. This cell right here near DeGordo, or no, I'm sorry, Cerro Gordo. It's gonna get absorbed by this line soon. Very intense winds are associated with this. 70-mile-per-hour winds on one warning. Yeah, really just 70-mile-an-hour winds on this whole line. As this continues east, we could get some swaths of 80 miles an hour wind. So very, very intense wind swaths are likely out of that. We have a lot to track, including really now Mississippi, as this cell is starting to gain a little bit of that upper level meso. The cyclone. And all these cells right here in southwest Missouri look very non-tornadic for the moment. And yeah, really strong aloft. If we get to the KILX radar, no, maybe just the, I don't know what radar. Oh, let's just turn the tilt up. Yeah, it has a huge Buer, boundary weak echo region aloft, very strong rotation aloft as well. You can see where our center rotation would be right here. Just the southeast of Sullivan, going north or east northeast. This is tilt 4. If we go down to like tilt 2, interesting. Tilt 3, you can see this is probably just a messy scan. See what will have to happen on the next scan. I mean, if we get anything intense to violent today, this could be it, pretty much. Thing that does it in. Yeah, new scan looks a little worse. This thing's probably going down the deep end, tornadic wise. So I have something to watch near St. Charles, north of that storm. North of the, or northeast of the radar site. But that doesn't look like much. Going back to our QLCS tornado threat. This is just to the south of Bloomington, Illinois. We're going to be going east towards DeLand and Weldon.
Whoa, what the hell is that?
Areas in DeLand and Weldon, make sure you're still taking cover from that. It's really just a waiting game till anything concerning happens. The most concerning thing has been this cell near Hillsborough, of course. It's an environment with around 103 cape and 5 surface vorticity. It's going straight into a maxed out tornado parameter space. So, again, these cells in Mississippi or Arkansas is a very concerning parameter space.
Okay, well, so the Richwood Storm, Storm Runner Media currently had a large lowering, a large wall cloud in the distance.
On which storm?
The Sullivan cell.
Alright, yeah, we're still gonna have to watch that. Wherever
Yeah, there's
that
a
is.
large wall cloud.
Alright, yep, large wall cloud still in the storm. Yeah, this thing's really trying to get its act together now. Going to the east towards Hillsborough, Missouri.
Oh wow, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful cell.
Your screen share.
Alright.
Trying to see where Mel is. Confused.
Yeah,
Oh,
as you
yeah.
see, we have our lowering here.
Some interesting looking storm. This is near. Alright, I'll watch your screen share. Oh wow. This is near Allendale, Illinois. No, Allendale, Indiana or Illinois. So it's gonna be something to watch maybe. I don't think that's necessarily tornadic at the moment. And a new tornado warning. This is for the cell I was just talking about. This is northeast of St. Louis near St. Charles. This includes St. Charles, Blackjack, Old Jamestown, Alton, Bethello, Roxana, and Edwardsville. Please take cover now if you are in any of those towns. This is on Missouri and Illinois, north of the St. Louis metro. And nothing insane. Look at our terminal radar. Yeah, we definitely have something developing in Mississippi. This is in a maxed out parameter space at the moment, so we're going to have to watch Arkansas and Mississippi closely. Lots of storm development trying here in southern Arkansas. That's going to do something pretty intense later on. Again, you can see on the left where it says satellite, that's mesoanalysis, not the satellite. If we go to some other fields, this is just fixed layer STP. It's still high in the St. Louis area, specifically in the whole confluence band area from southern Illinois down to Mississippi. Going to fixed layer Cape. No. Alright.
Oh, very large lowering.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, very large lowering in the cell we're watching right now. This is a tornado imminent east of Sullivan, southwest of Cedar Hill.
Oh my god.
Pretty interesting presentation on tilt 1. Yeah, that's a very low wall cloud. You can see our 300 millibar winds are really starting to surge. This will connect with our confluence bands. And there's no longer a huge jet split on that 300 millibar level, so could see something out of that. Our trough geometry is really favorable to that confluence band firing and those cells in South Indiana. Gonna have to watch out for that too. First, mainly just a wind threat. And no, never mind, we have a tornado warning now for LaGrange. Eminence, this is northeast of Louisville. This is in Kentucky. northern Kentucky, in the middle Louisville Metro, moving east out the Louisville Metro. LaGrange, Eminence, Newcastle. You guys need to be watching out for that. Going to continue keeping eyes on it, even though I don't think it's much of a threat right now. And 2 QLCS spin-ups likely. Weldon, take cover now. DeWitt, take cover now. You're right going to get hit by that very shortly. Yeah, that's looking pretty intense there. We're going to have QLCS spin-ups all up and down this line here.
Alright, they're going up on a hill. Oh my god. Wow.
I'm not sure how to feel about this radar presentation. It looks like it's trying to left split.
Ooh. Very impressive walk load. Although it doesn't look too organized in my opinion. From all the times I have seen it, it doesn't seem too organized of a walk load.
This is probably some big time convection near Cave in Rock, Kentucky, or Illinois. This is along the confluence band. We'll have to keep watching that. Some rotation on this cell still in Mississippi. And yeah, this cell in Oklahoma right now already has some sort of upper level meso going right now. And of course, we have these cells east of or in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Watch out for damaging hail near Sulphur Springs, Lone Oak, West Tawakanee, Terrell, Kaufman, those areas. Some pretty decently sized hail later. Going back up to our QLCS northwest. Oh yeah, that's really wrapping now. Up near Farmer City in Empire, Illinois. This is north central Illinois on this QLCS tornado threat. If you're in Farmer City, you really need to be watching this. This is going straight for Farmer City. Again, very strong QLCS tornado. Imminent going towards Farmer City. And this one down near Weldon just completely really fizzled out. Gonna have to continue watching this one near Ellipse as well. It doesn't look that tornadic at the moment. Very interesting presentation on the cell. Did look pretty tornadic earlier, but now it looks not all that impressive. Going back here. Yeah, and this cell is really running out of time here. But you can see news scan shows more rotation. You see earlier how tornadic this looked, but now it does not. Thankfully, this would have probably produced a really big tornado.
Our wall cloud seems to be a bit higher based, only by a bit.
Alright.
I can't really tell fully though. All these trees.
Yeah, this cold front's starting to move a little bit faster, so our window for discrete development is starting to narrow down, even though the stuff on the dry line is not, or the stuff on the cold front is not at all linear, besides for a little north of this. Still have to watch this cell southwest of the main cell we're watching near Hillsboro. This one's near Steelsville, Vernon, Salem, Missouri. That could become tornadic later on. Of course, very interesting situation near Allendale, Illinois, and St. Francisville, Illinois, and Indiana still. We're going to see what this does. I don't think it does anything, but very interesting presentation on radar. And still, our rotation northeast of Louisville. If you're in Eminence, Newcastle, north to South Village, please take cover now. And the cloud tops on the cells, or on the Missouri tornado warning cell to the south, seem to be lowering substantially. And the same thing that killed this cell may be the same thing that killed the other cell earlier, so it could just be poor outflow boundary interaction. Outflow boundary could just be weakening everything.
I'm gonna reword what Mel said here since he doesn't want to talk. He said RFD appears to be cycling on the Sullivan storm. He says it's gonna try again, and it's a very LP base with weak RFD.
Alright, yeah. You really see how the RFD is pretty weak. Interesting. I don't think this cell lasts very long in the long term because these over here, this just mess near Cuba and Steelville, Missouri is moving at around 60 miles an hour probably, I'd imagine. And this cell's only moving at 50 miles an hour. Yeah, 5-10 mile an hour difference between how fast these are moving. New scan shows it starting to move north a little bit. I'm not sure how to feel about this.
We definitely have a wall cloud still.
Alright.
Through brief glimpses, you can definitely see a wall cloud.
Looks so occluded without having anything. More rotation on our cell developing in northwest Mississippi. Again, in the very long term, we're talking
Warning's been continued.
Alright. Warning continuation on this cell. And have to keep watching that. And still watching our QLCS threat. Yeah, very strong winds. At least pretty strong winds are going to be going straight through to land right about now. This thing's really weird. The Farmer City area, you're about to get pelted by 60, 70 mile an hour winds. I'd be getting inside, indoors, maybe just practicing tornado warning procedures. You're under tornado warning, so yeah, you have to. Farmer City, Illinois, up towards Bellflower, that area. Not much else on this cell at all south of that, or the line at all south of that. Still have that tornado warning near Louisville. It doesn't look like much at the moment. Still gonna have to watch that.
Okay. So, from what I can see, we currently don't have a wall cloud under this forewarned cell that we've been watching, the Sullivan cell. We currently do not have a visual wall cloud from what I know.
Alright. So I have a tornado warning in the cell near Hillsboro, going northeast now. Lots of just mess north of it. Can't really make anything out. Going to a new cell. This is northwest Arkansas. Looks pretty interesting near Eureka Springs. We're going to have to watch this in the long term, but everything that's fired off the cold front in South Missouri and northwest Arkansas just hasn't been that great. We still have a very favorable tornadic environment in South Illinois, in western or eastern Missouri. So we are going to have to keep close tabs on this cell, even though it looks like it's weakening. Not much has been able to pop off. The cell looked, again, really great earlier, tornadic wise, but it looks like had an extreme outflow of cold stable air to the south of that storm. And these storms are in an insane tornadic environment, but they're just not doing anything. New confluence starting to fire in eastern Arkansas and eastern Arkansas going into Tennessee. Personally, for my forecast for this whole event, I've really seen this area around the Delta to have the highest main potential for long track significant tornadoes. All it takes is just one cell to break the cap, and this is going to be pretty significant. Lots of rotation on this extremely low precipitation cell near South Haven. Just not much at all, actually. These storms are going to have a slower time getting going in northwest Mississippi because they're in a less favorable environment, but not going to be a huge issue. And this is all sort of looking worse. And the cell I was talking about earlier near Salem and Steelville, Missouri looks a bit better. Has more of an upper level meso going east-northeast towards in an hour. Boone Terre, Park Hills, Farmington, Missouri. And let's go up to the land. Very, very destructive winds here near DeLand, Illinois. If you're near Mahomet, especially Champaign, you need to be watching this closely for any spin-up QLCS tornadoes and, of course, our threat for extreme damaging winds. Still actually no, 60 mile an hour or 60 mile an hour severe thunderstorm warning. The 70 mile an hour severe thunderstorm warning extending out from that. And a news cell in West Indiana going towards Crawfordsville. Right now in Clinton, Rockville, Waveland, those are the areas in that severe thunderstorm warning. Upper level meso and a lot, including this massive, slight convergence signature west of Louisville. Louisville, you need to stay, I'd say, indoors at least. Maybe get in your safe spots as you're going to get pretty intense damaging winds. As lots of attempts at convection are starting here now. And the cell in Mississippi has turned right. This is going to start impacting areas of Holly Springs in the next 30 minutes. Still not extremely tornadic. Going towards our southeast Oklahoma cell, that'll be moving into a more tornadic environment. And that cell we just had south of St. Louis had the best chance at anything, but it's just gone now. I think that cell that just failed near Hillsboro was just an act of it hitting the outflow boundary at a really bad angle and it causing the outflow to just completely mess with the storm internally. Which is why you saw just the south part look like an explosion. It just blew up to the south. So cold outflow is probably the reason why this cell didn't do anything. Looks more like a blob now. Like much more of this up to the northeast. Going back up, pretty much our main threat for anything in the in the immediate range here. This just past Farmer City, this in QLCS, as it merges with this supercell up ahead of the line near Champaign, Illinois, this is a chance at a pretty strong QLCS tornado threat. But not much confidence in that. Not much confidence in really anything at the moment. Still pretty much clear skies in the PDS tornado watch. You're starting to get some anviling over the confluence bands, which may also suppress convection as well. Storms might not be able to fire if there's too much anviling, cold anviling, which may drastically lower the temperatures very, very quick along the Mississippi Delta. I'm talking really this area, Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff. Good for people, bad for storms.
Oh, Creator.
Yeah.
Do you want to ping that you're streaming on TOC, the server?
Nobody goes with that.
Hey, bro, you never know.
And it looks like our best cells in the very long term, next few hours, will probably be the ones in southern Missouri near Mountain Grove, Mountain View, Somerville. This will be going east into the Kentucky vicinity in hours. Talking hours. Areas like Cape Girardeau need to be watching this overnight tornado threat.
Do you want to ping that you're...
This Mississippi cell is looking very interesting. You can see that low precipitation hook. This goes to the northeast. Good environment overall for All hazards. More attempts at convection to the south of that. It's not over.
Alright, I'll be right back. Yeah, y'all got that.
Alright. Still watching these storms fire in the DFW Metroplex. That will be something. Alright, going back. Looks like all our attempts at convection in the confluence band area, which is just western Kentucky, southern Illinois, western Tennessee, northeast Arkansas, has just failed. I think due to that infilling you see on the satellite right here, the area my mouse is going in circles around, that's probably why. High level clouds are probably going to increase or decrease the chance of convection. And we will be right back with coverage coming up here. Whoa, oh. That's a concerning look. This is a live storm chaser, not in Pacific, Missouri. Ignore that. This is really wrapping up. North of Hillsboro still has a chance. Crossing the road here. This is live front Brett Adair on Hascams. Could see something trying to form out of this. This is interesting look. This is an interesting look right now. Gonna have to keep seeing where this heads. Or which direction this heads. Tornado wise. Anyways, we'll keep this stream up. We will try to show it. It will be in the bottom right corner, I believe. So again, keep watching that. And we will and again, it only takes one supercell. I mean, there have been a lot of moderate risks, like moderate risk alone, that have done really nothing notable during the day. But as soon as it became night, that LOJ kicked in and you got some storms along confluence banding, there was a very violent tornado. I'm talking about one day in particular, but there's been multiple instances of this. Last year, March 14th, completely different event. A much, much worse event than this, I think, could ever really be. Especially knowing how this is performing right now. Oh yeah, we need to go back to this and right here. Very, very strong damaging winds right now. Oh yeah. If you're near Mahomet, if you're in Champaign, you need to be inside, away from windows. trees falling down is certainly a threat. The trees are already very saturated from that heavy rain that came over. So yeah. Anyways, what I was talking about, there have been a lot of events that have not performed well during the day and have done a lot of stuff at night. Big example, April 27th, 2024. We had a moderate risk in Oklahoma. Everybody thought the risk was pretty much over. We had confluence bending in southern Oklahoma. We had violent tornadoes hitting Sulphur, Marietta, Oklahoma, and that's just one example. Another example, of course, Rolling Fork. I remember that one a lot. It's pretty much all I could think of at the moment. Let me think. I'm just like running through dates in my head. One very, very weak example, I think it was May 16th. It was a moderate risk in Kansas or something. It wasn't looking there. It still performed to expectations during the day, but at night there was 4 EF3 tornadoes near Greensburg. One hit Planiva, deadly tornado up there, I think. And then that same year, 2025, last year, May. This is before that. I think this was May 16th. We had a violent tornado hit London, Kentucky. Even though it performed well during the day, we had an EF3 hit St. Louis and EF4 hit Marion, Illinois. This EF4 went straight through London, Kentucky and produced very, very violent damage. Deadly tornado. I believe one of the deadliest since Rolling Fork at the time. Still the deadliest tornado since Rolling Fork, I believe. And yeah, again, just saying this event is over in any regard is extremely reckless, and nobody should be doing that. If anybody on Twitter or anything like that saying that, they are wrong, they are not correct at all. And these cells, like I said, they are looking more tornadic now along the cold front, especially this cell going near Emerus, Somerville. That's looking more tornadic. This cell near, okay, maybe not this one, but maybe. Let me look. Yeah, this cell right here, northwest of Viberon, I think, south of Steelville. This also looks tornadic in the long term. So again, just because right now nothing's really happening with our tornado potential, the parameter space is still pretty up there in terms of events, especially ones we've had this year. This is one of the most volatile parameter spaces we've had this year. I can't verify if it is the most or not. And we will be covering severe weather more often. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be too busy. Not thinking it's going to be much of a tornadic threat. However, DFW tomorrow, I want you to watch out in the areas I'm circling. Oh, I'm zoomed in too much. In the areas I'm circling this year, threat tomorrow for the DFW. Strong supercells capable of large hail, maybe even tornadoes. DFW to the southeast towards Tyler, Corsicana, Jacksonville. And then an extremely strong damaging wind and hail threat through Arkansas, northern Mississippi, maybe even northern Louisiana tomorrow. And yeah, that's just some things to note. We're going to be tracking events through May, through June. And that's about it here. And we'll be doing an intermission here. And we're going to go on intermission. Hopefully I don't see anything that really needs discussion. Final points before we go on intermission. Tornado warning for Champaign, Thomasboro, Royal, St. Joseph, Illinois. Please take cover now. Even if there's no tornado, you're still going to get extremely strong damaging winds from this, regardless of any threat of tornadoes. So you need to be indoors in a shelter, ideally in a shelter. Going to the south, of course, is cell near Illinois. Please watch for anything that may sprout up. Damaging winds towards St. Louis, Troy, Edwardsville. Lebanon, Belleville, Freeburg, Illinois. Going back down, these cells are going to be more damaging in the long term in Missouri. And, of course, this cell down near Mississippi is starting to look tornadic. And that is it. Going on intermission.